it's an older one because there are questions here that are off the specification, but the rest of the questions are brilliant. And I know many of you attempted the off-spec ones, and many of you got them right as well. But I didn't want to start correcting them because I don't want you to have to pile stuff into your head that you don't need to know. So transforming graphs, grade 8. So this is me doing the first one. This is the general black little function one. That's my little red offering. It just means f of x plus 2, so you transform it using vector 0, 2 straight up. So don't go left or right, just lift it up 2 units and use the graph to help you. So 0, 0 becomes 0, 2, minus 2, 2 becomes minus 2, 4. And just mark in some key points and then try and draw as best as you can, 2 marks. This means reflecting the x-axis. Again, I didn't do it brilliantly. If you notice where it passes through, the point 0, 0 and the point minus 4, 0 will be called invariant points, because when you reflect those points and they're already sitting on the line, they're not going to move up or down. So 0, 0 stays put, minus 2, 2 becomes minus 2, minus 2, hence the coordinate there. This looks like minus 5, minus 2, so if you reflect that bit, it becomes minus 5 plus 2, and as you can see, that's me trying to reflect it. I didn't do it brilliantly because this has gone slightly above 4, and mine should have gone a little bit lower than that, but I would get 2 marks for that because I've got my key points marked in and I'm trying to copy the curve as reflection. 2 marks, grade 8. Again, that one's off spec. So this is given to us, we don't have to draw anything, but we're told to focus our eyes on this maximum point there, 2, 3. You may recall f of x minus 2. It's not the same as f of x then minus 2. It's f of x minus 2, which means you go that way 2 units. In other words, a translation of 2, 0. So if I want to take the point 2, 3 and slide it across 2 points, ends up being 4, 3. That's it, still worth grade 8. That's off spec, don't make me do that. This one is, I want to go from 0, 0 to 4, 0. So I've slid across that way 4 units. In other words, I've used a vector 4, 0, which means it must be y equals f of x minus 4. Now, too many of you wrote down f of x minus 4. No, that's not an equation, that's an expression. You need to write the entire new equation. Y equals f of x minus 4, okay? So I probably would have given you 1 tick for that. Too many of you did that. That's why. It's not like complete, is it? That's question 3 done. Y equals f of x is shown, this little black one, and I wanted to draw in f of x, then take away 4. In other words, move down 4 units, better known as translation using the vector 0, minus 4. Now, too many of you did this mistake. You went 1, 2, 3, 4 and drew the graph down here, passing through 0, minus 4. Look carefully. Each little box is worth 2 jumps. So if you go minus 4, you go from 4, 0, 4 to 0, 0, and then you just redraw it. And do your best to try and work out what that bit is and simulate that. Work out what that is and drop it 4 units. 2 boxes basically. Again, it's the intention that's being marked here. But if you suddenly drop 4 boxes because you count each box as worth 1, then you won't get anything for that. Off spec. What's this all about? I've got to redraw this one. Y equals f of x minus 3. Go that way 3 units. In other words, translation using a vector 3, 0. Yeah. So the key point really is that one. Take it across 3 points, do a little x, and unfortunately this starts at a very awkward place. So it's between minus 1 and minus 2. So I can still get like a half, 1, 2 and a half, 3. Yeah. So I sort of plotted it that way. Got 3 points to try and use to get a nice smooth curve. Off spec, don't ask. This one, okay, I drew it badly. I didn't do it deliberately wrongly, it's just a little bit bad. This is a straightforward reflection in the x-axis. It's minus f of x. This one I got bang on. See that point right there? That's minus 4, 4. And if I reflect that, it'll be minus 4, minus 4. So I actually made that pass through really, really well. Unfortunately, this one I missed. The 0, 4 should become 0, minus 4. I completely missed it and put it through minus 3. That's actually badly drawn. I'll probably lose a mark for that because it seems like I deliberately put it through minus 3. I just missed. but you know, the examiner won't give you the benefit of doubt. It's just a reflection. And please note, it is meant to be a curve. It's not meant to be a straight line V up and down, yeah? Or an upside down V. It's not like that. What's all this about? Too much to read. I'm going from there to there. What's the equation of G? Well, I've gone from -2 all the way to +4. So I've done a translation of 6, 0. And if I'm moving that way 6 units, like a little boat on a river, then y equals f of x minus 6. Okay, so what have I got here? Blah, blah, blah. I've got a minimum point of 3, 1. The minimum value is 1. Y will never, ever, ever, ever go below 1 because the graph goes down, hits the minimum, goes up again. Anyway, that's just extra background information. I want to see what happens to the minimum point of the curve when I go f of x plus 3. So you take your function and go 3 units. So 3, 1 becomes 3, 2, 3, 3, 3, 4. That's 3 units up. So 3, 4 is correct. This next one here, you'll recall, f of x minus 2 means go right 2 units, translation vector 2, 0. So just add 2 onto the 3, 1. So 3, 1, 4, 1, 5, 1. I've just moved 2 units across, 5, 1. You're not going up or down, all right? Off spec, what's this? All right, so here I go again. I want to go from 0, 0 to 4, 0, which is a translation vector of 4, 0. In other words, y equals f of x minus 4. Remember, you go that way, it's minus. If you go that way, it's plus. And I proved it to you by calculation when I first introduced this topic of transforming graphs. There is a question 9, it seems. Okay, 2 marks. Okay, 1 for each bit. Again, I'm going to shift the minimum value of 3 minus 4. I have got to go 2 units to the right, f of x minus 2 in brackets. So if I want to go 2 that way, my x value would increase by 2. So 3 minus 4 becomes a 5 minus 4, a tick for each little bit. Probably because you're recognizing that minus 4 is not going to go up or down at all. So by calling it minus 4, you recognize correctly that it's not going to have any vertical movement whatsoever. Okay, grade 8. 2 marks. This next one is one of these double whammies. So let's take it one at a time, because I did it a bit at a time. Y equals f of x plus 5. In other words, f of x plus 5, which means go left 5 units, and plus 6, go up 6 units. So you're looking at a translation or using vector minus 5, 0, 0, followed by a translation using vector 0, 6. So you're going minus 5, 0, 0, 6 straight up. It's not asking you to draw it. You've got a blank grid there without nothing to help you. It wants the point of the minimum. So if I'm going to go left 5 units, if I go 3, take away 5, end up with minus 2, minus 4, don't I? Because the minus 4 hasn't moved yet. And if I'm going to go up 6 units, I'm going to take my minus 4 and add on 6 onto my y bit, and that will give me 2. So for the 2 marks, it's minus 2, 2. Let me go over the second one. Remember, this is going to be on video as soon as I can do it, and then I'll just post it to all of you. And by the way, these are the pictures I mentioned earlier before we started the video. It's just 2 questions and some notes. Please note, print these off really, really well. Print them off. It saves you copying it, or otherwise you're going to have to wait for me to do the video. Then you have to take snapshots and do it yourself. But I've done all the snapshots. You don't need to worry. Just please download it, copy it, or print it off in colour if you've got colour, because it's colourful for a reason, and then you can use it. But that's for tomorrow. And now we're going to do your Maths Genie. And which one is it? That one. Do this one quickly as well, then we'll come back together. All of these questions are new spec compliant. I can tell it says 1 to 9 and not A to A star or something. Right, same sort of thing. We're moving points along. There's the maximum, 1, 4. I want to now just go a little bit bigger. Like that, big. Right, I'll do. So f of x plus 3 means turn left 3 units. In other words, translation using vector minus 3, 0. So you take the 1, 4 and go back 1, 2, 3. So it becomes minus 2, 4. Again, the 4 isn't going up or down. There's no vertical movement. Okay. Next one, much easier. Minus f of x means reflect it in the x-axis. So if you imagine, watch my little hand go there. See that? Boom. A 1, 4 will become a 1 minus 4. Yeah? It's 1 along, but instead of going plus 4 up, you're going minus 4 down. That's why it's 1 minus 4. Now think on one of you, I actually drew it on for you to show you what reflection would look like and why it had to be 1 minus 4. Here, f of x, then minus 3, drop it down 3 units, translation vector 0, minus 3. So if I go 1, 4 and take away 3 off my 4, I go 1, 1. So about here somewhere. There's your answer. Here, you may recall that is a reflection in the x-axis, f of minus x. So that little blob will end up, reflection of what, sorry? Reflection in the x, wait a minute, what have I done? Yeah, this should say reflection in the y-axis. Oh, I've crashed a little bit. Reflection in y equals 0. Yes, that's a reflection in the x-axis, isn't it? Yeah, I got it. And this one over here is going to be a reflection in x equals 0, in other words, the y-axis. I got it right. Okay, so that 1, 4 slips over here to minus 1, 4, because it's 1 away from the y-axis, so it's going to be minus 1, 4 up, I think. Yeah, correct. Thank you, whoever that was, for your contribution. Question 2, again playing with minimum values, and they're not asking you to sketch. I can't remember they want you to sketch anything yet. So we're playing with 2 minus 3. And again, f of x plus 2, x plus 2 in the bracket, turn left 2 units. So if I've got 2 minus 3 and I'm going left 2 units, I better go bam, bam, which is 0 minus 3, yeah, using vector minus 2, 0. Next one, reflection in the x-axis, or the line y equals 0. Let's take a look. So I went 2 minus 3, and so I go 2 along, 3 up. So this is it. This is me drawing my reflection with my little hand. Boom. So there'll be a maximum value around there. It'll be 2 plus 3, 2, 3. This one, this is easy. Just lift the whole thing up 2 units. The translation using vector 0, 2. So if I've gone 2 minus 3, then 2 minus 2, then 2 minus 1, that's a jump of 2 units, hence 2 minus 1. Again, if you're in an exam, you need to draw a quick sketch just to visualize what's happening, then do so, because these are expensive marks. These are grade 8 marks, and then you just want to get them. Here, a reflection in the x-axis, in the y-axis, in the line y equals 0, the line x equals 0, which is the y-axis. So let's reflect him. So 2 becomes minus 2, but the minus 3 won't go anywhere else because I'm not moving it up or down. So I'm going for minus 2, minus 3, and I got it right. What's next? Oh, this looks really, really awkward. Okay, so blah, 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 picture. I've got a maximum of minus 2, 1, and find f of x minus 3. Go that way 3 units. So minus 2 plus 3 goes bam, 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 1, 1. Okay. Next one, f of minus x, and I'll just reflect it in the y-axis, I think. Yeah, reflect it in the y-axis. So a minus 2 from this line here becomes a plus 2 over here. So I've got 2, 1. That's correct as well. This one, I think about this one. It's minus f of x plus 2. So x plus 2 actually means go left 2 units, but minus means reflect in the x-axis afterwards. So it's really complicated. This is worth 2 marks. So the first thing I did was to go left 2 units, I think. So going left 2 units was minus 4, 1. Then I've got to reflect it down to here, which is going to be minus 4, minus 1. That's why I've got markings there. Yeah, if I turn left 2 units, minus 4, 1. Now reflect the minus 4, 1. Be minus 4, minus 1. Did I get it right? Yeah, I've reasoned correctly. Again, this is quite difficult, worth more than a mark. This one, I think, is easier. F of minus x, which means reflect it in the y-axis, and then drop it down 1 unit, in other words using vector 0, minus 1. So let's see if I can do it live. Reflect in the y-axis, then drop it down. Reflect it in, is that correct? Reflect in the y-axis, so that becomes 2, 1 over here somewhere, that's my reflection, and drop it down 1, boom. I reckon that'll be 2, 0. Yes, got it right. Yes, so that makes sense. What's next? Oh, now it gets really easy. Got to draw it. So here's the standard function. That'll be y equals x squared and plus whatever. Right, so minus fx, draw a reflection. So I've got 0, 5, aim for 0, minus 5. I've got 2, 5, aim for 2, minus 5, and make it look nice and curvy. This one is turn left 2 units, a translation vector of minus 2, 0. Again, the point 0,5 is invariant. It's still going to stay there, I think. Yeah. Actually, no, because 0,5 becomes minus 2,5. It's not invariant. It's not a reflection. It's actually a translation vector. So we're going to go left 2 units. So watch this. 2 squares is worth 1 unit now. So I'm going to go 1, 2, get a key point there. Then go 1, 2, get a key point. And then just draw in my curve and get my 2 marks. Yeah, I knew this was coming up. This is why I got a little bit confused earlier. This really is a reflection in the y-axis. So 1, 0 becomes minus 1, 0. 2, 5 becomes minus 2, 5. And 0, 5 remains as 0, 5. This is the one that's invariant. The previous one isn't. Here, I slid this across the left. Here, I'm not sliding across. I'm actually reflecting, which makes the point 0, 5 invariant. Get used to that word. What's all this about? This is drop it down 2 units, i.e. vector 0, minus 2. Again, I've got the key point of 0, 5. Drop it down 2, 0, 3. Put a little cross there. 1, nothing becomes 1, minus 2. So I've dropped it down 2 units, etc. Then use 3 points to help me draw a half decent curve. Yeah? What's next? This is getting easy. What's this? Oh, y equals minus f of x. In other words, a reflection in the x-axis. Mine is a little bit too pointy. Anyway, the key point is I've got minus 1, 5 becomes minus 1, minus 5. So you can see a little scrappy little cross there. 0, 0 is invariant. Minus 2, 0 is invariant, because actually this x-axis is the mirror line, and minus 2, 0 and 0, 0 are on the mirror line itself. So I've got 2 invariant points, and then I try and draw the best curve. It looks a bit V-shaped. I'll probably get the marks because my intention is shown there, and I'm starting and finishing at the right points as well. What's this one all about? This one is, I have no idea, f of x minus 1, so translation vector 1, 0 in that direction. Quite easy, really. I go from minus 1, 5 to 0, 5, that's 1 unit. Gone from minus 2, 0 to minus 1, 0, etc. Then just draw it in after you've got a few points. And there's one more or more? I don't know. Let's take a look. I don't remember. I've got to sketch f of x minus 1. In other words, go that way 1 unit. This was generally well done. So you go from minus 3 to minus 2, minus 3. So get that point there. Minus 1, 2 to 0, 2. Get that point. And 1 minus 3. 2 that way becomes 2 minus 3. So how many? No, 1 way, 1 that way. Sorry, 2 squares, 1 unit. Again, just get 3 key points and let it help you to construct your curve. That's worth 2 marks, not 1 mark. What's this one? So the graph of that has a turning point of minus 1, 2. Yeah, I agree. There's the turning point right there. And what do they want? Write down the coordinates of the turning point of f of minus x plus 2. Oh, the f of minus x means reflect it in the y-axis first and then lift it up 2 units. So let's just play with that. Reflect it in the y-axis. So 1, 2 becomes minus 1, 2 becomes 1, 2. And then lift it up. How many units did they say? Lift it up 2 units. So go 1, 2. There you go. I've landed on 1, 4. That's worth 2 marks as well. So let me just